All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the post-game show.
Hey.
Kristen Brown, Chad Brown, Guerilla Sports, Broncos 6-2, 44-24. So we've had the crazy fourth quarter of last week.
Yep.
We've had two disappointing losses in a row.
Yep.
And now the best overall game of the season for the Denver Broncos.
So they're getting hot, and they're getting hotter, and they're getting hotter to get us where we need to go.
Hot, and hotter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting where they need to be at the right time because the trajectory is good. There's so much good to talk about.
Okay.
And you know how excited I get.
I do know. I'm well aware. I
don't want to get all crazy excited and talk about everything at once.
Okay.
But I just want to say really quick, we love a victory formation.
Yes, it is the best formation in football. Victory formation, best way to end any football game you're involved in is the victory formation. Yes.
Yes.
As exciting as a last-second field goal or last-second touchdown is, it's actually the best formation in football is victory formation.
Absolutely. My favorite formation, by the way.
Less anxiety at the end for you?
Yes. The nail biters. Okay, can we all just let's do this. Let's look at our nails. Let's check our heart rate. All of that is so good because last week was such a nail biter.
Right.
Heart rate was through the roof. One to take a shot, one to take a run. Today, I was just loving, exciting, relaxed. I know some people like a nail biter. In the Super Bowl, if our team's not in it, whatever, that's fine. But today was beautiful to see how much they cleaned up and how they put this thing together. We got to break it down.
All right, going into this game,
the
conversation around this game was Cowboys come in with the number one yardage offense in the NFL. They come in with the number two scoring offense in the NFL. Now, of course, on the other side of the ball, the Cowboys defense was terrible, either last or 30th in every high important defensive category.
Right.
So the question was, okay, how well does this Broncos defense, who we all believe is very, very good, how well do they deal with the Cowboys offense? And after the slow start, incredible finish last week for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense, what can they do against this really bad Cowboys defense? And I think both questions were answered with an affirmative. Yeah, they can do this. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So play calling this week, I liked it a lot. I do have a question because who was it? Tony? Was it Tony Romo?
Tony Romo, correct.
Okay. Tony Romo said we won the toss and we didn't defer.
Correct.
And he pointed out that doesn't always happen. So I was curious about that. Why do we defer? Why do we not defer? Why is that rare?
Okay. Typically, if you win the toss, you would like to defer most of the time because that gives you an opportunity to get the ball to start the second half. And then if you can run your plays and manage the game correctly, you get a chance to score at the end of the second quarter, then get the ball to start the third quarter in the second half to get that double up.
Okay.
But there are also reasons why you may want to start on offense first.
Okay.
Maybe you feel like we got such a great offensive game plan, we want to punch them in the mouth first.
Okay, fast and hard come out kind of thing.
Right, and we came out pretty fast and threw an interception.
True.
So clearly, I think Sean was feeling good about his script.
Yeah.
Feeling good about the matchups that he identified against a struggling Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense has been struggling all year. And now to add in the number of injuries they had at defensive back, I think Sean was like, let's just get on the field, get some points, and begin to dictate this game early rather than what if the Cowboys have a great game plan first, they go down and score first.
Right.
And now suddenly they control the tempo, they control the play calling, they control how much they want to run the ball in this game. Sean wants to just put his foot down on pedal to the metal to begin the game.
I love it. And you know what else I love, Bronco Country?
Ooh, tell us, Kristen Brown.
We own the boys.
Yes.
We own those Cowboys.
Was this 8 in a row against them now?
Okay, yeah. So basically, let's see. Do you know what you were doing 30 years ago on September 10th, 1995?
Yes, I do.
What were you doing?
I was playing linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
We played the Houston Oilers.
Okay.
Not even not even a team anymore.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans are the old Houston Oilers. In the Astrodome, which is not even a stadium anymore.
Right.
My Pittsburgh Steelers won.
Yeah.
And I had 6 tackles and 3 sacks.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, well, let's talk about
Cognitively,
what happened 30
sometimes
years
I still
ago.
got it. Sometimes I still got it.
Yeah, you do, Chad Brown. 30 years ago was the last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos.
That's bananas.
Yeah, we own them. Like, you talked about that Astrodome. People don't even know what's an Astrodome.
Right.
What's a Cowboy victory? Like, we own them.
It's impressive, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, so he started off getting the toss and starting off taking it. Let's run the ball. Let's start off fast and hard and dictate.
Correct.
Okay, so you talked about scripted. Break that down to me again. How many of the plays are scripted in the beginning?
Okay, so it all depends on the coach. Some coaches want to do 10, sometimes 15, sometimes I've even seen coaches do 25.
Okay.
Probably won't get to all those.
25.
The game may break out, and so they may have to get off the script. That way they've got something there.
Okay.
But I think Sean Payton usually does about 15.
And this is only offense that does the scripting.
Obviously, only offense, because defensively,
sure.
you're always in a reactive mode of what personnel the opponent has on the field.
Okay.
So you always have to at least match up personnel.
Okay.
But for the Broncos, I think Sean Payton does 15.
Okay.
And he may have to, once the ball gets inside the red zone, they may go off of script because the packages change depending on where you are on the field. But if you feel good about your script, and in a Saturday night meeting at the hotel, so the offense will go over the script. And they'll show plays of them running those plays earlier in the season or maybe during the practice week, so everybody can know exactly what the script is going to look like. These are the plays we're going to run. This is everyone's responsibility. So we should have no reason to make a mistake on these first 15 plays. And so for Sean Payton, feels good about that. And I've heard coaches, my head coaches, say in the Saturday night meeting, once we get back together as a team, because we break up offense, defense, but you come back together, all right, offensively, we feel great about our script. And I've talked to the defensive coaches. They feel great about our game plan. We're going to be aggressive all day tomorrow. And so it kind of sets the tone. It sets the attitude for the game. And I can see Sean Payton recognizing all the weaknesses and holes on the Cowboys defense and being able to just kind of lick his play calling chops, lick his chops like, I'm going to attack that guy and I'm going to attack that guy. That guy's the weak fish and that guy's the weak fish. And I know just who I want to put on that guy.
That's so fun. That's so fun. Okay, so play calling today. Let's start with the first quarter. Okay. So I thought the play calling was really, really good today. I thought they really did things that we do well. They called plays that we do well. So, and also it's just like Bo's legs. I thought we were going to see more of his legs, like plays for him to run. We didn't see that today. So what are your thoughts on?
That is based off of, I think, need.
So
unless you need it, considering, I mean, we put up 44 points, only kicked 1 field goal, 6 touchdowns over the course of the game. But I think we ended the first half with 27 points, I believe. So things were going in the right direction. Why put your quarterback at risk?
Smart.
Now, if you are expecting a tighter ball game and you want to begin to influence the defense, you could sprinkle that in early. But again, I think Sean Payton recognized we've got such an advantage offensively. I don't need to put him at risk.
Okay, so also in this first quarter, let's talk about Vance. Because, we're coming across this number 1 offense, supposedly.
Right.
I got to say supposedly at this point, right? So Vance was ready. The guys were ready. What did you like that you saw out there today with the defense?
Well, you knew Javonte Williams would come out motivated.
Right, try to show up and show out.
Right,
he used to be a Bronco. I would too.
You guys thought I was done.
Yeah.
I was just recovering from my knee injury.
Yeah.
I'm fully recovered now. I'm one of the leading rushers in the league. You disrespected me. The Cowboys were interested. You know how it works. Yeah. You got there's a play. You got chips, not a chip, chips on both shoulders.
Okay.
And the second somebody doubts you as a player, then you knock the chip off my shoulder, man.
Show up and show out.
So you knew Javonte would be motivated. And so you knew Dak Prescott coming to the game as having one of his best seasons. And in the end, Dak walks off in Power Field today with his worst game of the season. And even
we own those. We own them.
Even in the second half with Pat Surtain out of the game.
Yeah.
They tried to target the replacements a bit, and they had some success. But overall, the Broncos defense is more than just one player.
Right.
So it's more than just if Vance happens to get them into the right call. They've got all those guys up front that can get after the quarterback. This linebacker unit was really good today. The linebackers and safety taking on Ferguson, who's leading the NFL in tight end receptions. So essentially took him away.
Yeah.
And then on the back end, Riley Moss knew he would be targeted. And so Riley Moss finds ways every week to stand up. Now I know he gets probably more penalties than we would like.
Right.
But the intense pressure that he is under, that's very difficult to deal with as a player. When you go into every game knowing you are going to be targeted, yet you still find ways to make plays to hold up your end of the bargain. And sometimes you're going to get a little handsy and grab on to people and get some calls that aren't going to go your way. And I think it's a little bit of the Michael Jordan rules. Michael Jordan never, he got all kind of leeway with the officials.
Yeah.
Pat Surtain's going to get more leeway than Riley Moss is.
Right.
2 or 3 years down the road, Riley Moss may be to that level where the officials give him some of those.
Okay.
But right now, he's got to expect once or twice a game, he's going to get a call that he just doesn't like.
Okay. Well, not to jump too far forward,
Okay.
but since you brought that up, I'm like, okay, we're playing the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's America's team, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Even to hear Tony Romo on the broadcast, it was just like, he just kept celebrating the Cowboys.
Well, he did play for the Cowboys.
Exactly. So it was so slanted. That was driving me crazy. But like, I wonder how much the refs are influenced by it's America's team.
That's a pretty good question, actually, because the Raiders have had, I don't know how many head coaches in their history.
Yeah.
But typically every couple of years, they're one of the most penalized teams. They may clean it up for a year or two, but then the next year they lead the league in penalties. So there's certain teams that are just branded in that way.
Right.
And yeah, I think there's certain privileges that come with certain teams. As bad as the New York Giants are, as bad as the New York Jets are, if you're a good player on one of those teams, chances are you make the Pro Bowl. If you're a good Steeler linebacker, you make the Pro Bowl. There's just certain perceptions around certain teams. And so for the Dallas Cowboys to get some lenient official calls, I wouldn't be surprised if over the years it would stack up that that's actually factual.
Okay. Well, remember that because we'll circle back to that.
Well, you had me remembering from something 30 years ago. So hopefully I can hold on to something from 5 minutes ago.
You got this.
Sure?
Because I got a question about that, and we'll get to that for sure. Okay. So I was concerned, and I would imagine Vance thought about this. Is G-Dub going to show up and show out? But we were able to handle
Javonte. He ran hard. He showed he's definitely recovered from what he was his last 2 years as a Denver Bronco. But because of the score of the game, he was not utilized in the way the Cowboys would have liked to have used him.
Right.
They would love to use him in end of half, close out the half, nice 6-minute drive to go down and score, chew up the clock, 4-minute drill at the end of the game. That's how they wanted to use him. Obviously, because they were behind, there was no opportunity for that.
That's the thing about being behind. That's one of the things about being behind.
All right. I love it. You keep coaching me up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't get behind now. Okay. So the offense, that first drive, I have to admit, I was a little bit like, oh no. But then we came back from that very quickly. And then they talked about this kid named Harvey.
Right. RJ.
Yes. And second rounder, superstar in the making.
According to Bo Nix, yeah.
Yeah. So I like him. I like him a lot. He looks like he's my size. But what do you think? Is he a superstar in the making?
I think he's, if used right. And I would love to see his game continue to grow. And if you think about Sean Payton in New Orleans, he had a couple of running backs that he was able to utilize in the run game and in the pass game. So I think RJ Harvey has that possibility.
Okay.
So we could be talking about Reggie Bush. We can be talking about Alvin Kamara with the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
So Sean Payton did a tremendous job with those guys, getting them involved in the offense multiple ways. Because we've got J.K. Dobbins,
right,
who's probably going to be most games the primary rusher for this
Okay.
Broncos football team.
Okay.
He's going to get most of the carries.
Okay.
But to sprinkle in RJ Harvey in as a runner and as a receiver,
Yeah.
now he's on the field. The defense can't just know what's going to happen next. Sometimes certain personnel packages come on the field or certain people come on the field, and defensively you just go, oh, they're going to throw the ball. Oh, they're going to run the ball.
Right.
And so with RJ Harvey, you don't know. So this joker personnel guy that Sean Payton has been talking about and was the topic of the offseason for Broncos media, we all thought that was going to be Evan Ingram.
Okay.
And Evan Ingram is playing a bit more of a bigger role almost every week now, a couple of weeks in a row. I think 3 weeks in a row. A little bit more involved in the game plan. I'm not sure if Evan Ingram's going to be that guy. Maybe it's going to be RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
And again, what you want as a play caller is when I put certain personnel packages on the field, that it's not an immediate tell to the defense.
Yeah.
So the defense has to choose. If they're choosing the personnel to go on the field, we're either going to choose run personnel or pass personnel.
Okay.
And then if you've got a good enough quarterback and you've got the right player on the field, RJ Harvey as an example, then they recognize run personnel for the defense. Well, they can just check to the pass play. RJ Harvey can execute it. You've got a quarterback smart enough to recognize the personnel and change the call. So that's that joker thing where you can always be one step ahead of the defense.
Okay, so this style of having this diversity really keeps the defense on.
Is there inclusion in this one too?
Yes, diversity
and inclusion. Okay.
That's good. I like that because it's going to keep the defense on their heels.
Right.
Because they don't know what package to send in. And that's how we get those big plays.
Right, because or you get the mismatch that you want. So they say, oh, we're going to put our run defense got a personnel on the field.
Yeah.
And then you happen to get RJ Harvey, who's a talented athlete, one-on-one situation on a pass pattern with a linebacker whose main job is to make tackles in the run game, not to cover people in the pass game.
Okay.
And so suddenly he's either grabbing and going to get a holding call, or RJ Harvey creates separation. Bo Nix recognizes it, gets it to him. RJ Harvey makes the catch, but then he gets yards after catch because it's such a mismatch. This guy can't keep up with him.
Okay, very good. So last week we talked about batted passes.
Correct.
We are not talking about that today.
Yes, and I didn't hear any reports of racquetball rackets being handed out.
I just maybe not. I don't know, but you heard it here first.
It was certainly an issue last week,
right?
And it certainly seemed to be corrected. Now you don't ever want to apologize for a victory. You don't ever want to apologize for doing well. But it would be hard to call what the Cowboys rolled out there a defense.
But that's their problem.
That's their problem. That is their problem. That is their problem. But there are certain periods in practice as an offense where you run plays and there's no defense out there.
Okay.
It's called running plays on air.
That's weird, but okay.
Well, it's just because the coaches want to see everybody execute their assignments.
Okay.
And then if you put a defense out there, what if somebody's not paying attention to because in practice, the players defensively are following a script, a diagram.
Okay.
What if somebody doesn't do it right?
Okay.
So we just want to run perfect plays.
Right.
We're going to do 10 perfect plays on air to finish practice.
Got it.
So we can all leave the field feeling good about our job, our assignment, our execution. This is going to be a really positive, confident period.
Okay.
Running plays on air.
Okay.
There were sometimes it looked like the Broncos were running plays on air versus this Cowboys defense. That was a very long way of me explaining that.
Okay. Like just how bad they showed up today.
Yes. And so this Cowboys defense, they hit Bo Nix, I think, once.
And he still completed the pass.
Yes. And they got close to him after that. I'm not sure if they was actually recorded as a quarterback hit. So yes, there was not much offered from the Broncos pass. I'm sorry, from the Cowboys pass rush or D line. So the Houston Texans next week.
Right. Okay.
They're only giving up 14 points a game.
Okay. One
of the best defenses in the NFL. Ooh. So this Bronco offense, yes, they got some confidence. You feel good about this.
Yeah.
But, I won't say pump your brakes, but maybe temper some of the best offense in the NFL proclamations until we see them do it against the Texans, who are a real, legitimate NFL defense. There won't be any plays the Broncos will run that will look like they're running plays on air next week against the Texans.
Are we home or away next week?
We are in Houston.
Oof.
at
Okay.
NRG Stadium in
Okay.
Houston.
Okay. It's fine. We got it.
Now, the Texans offense, so it's almost the reverse of the Cowboys.
Okay.
Because the Texans play awesome defense.
Okay.
And for, I think, the first 4 weeks of the season, they had the lowest scoring offense.
Oh, then we totally got it because we have way more balance than they do.
But wait.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
I'm excited. Okay.
Texans have now reeled off 3 wins in their last 4 games.
Oh, well, then it's time for
their offense has now gotten rolling. So it's the exact opposite of the Cowboys coming to this game from a statistical rankings on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we're going in there with some confidence.
Yes, which we needed.
Yeah.
And the Broncos, gosh, what did they put up?
Because it's such a solid win today.
So 44 points today.
Yeah.
35 points last week in the fourth quarter. So I'll do math. That's 74. That's 81 points in the last 5 quarters.
Wow.
Which are you more impressed with, the offensive output or my ability to do math live on air?
Ooh. Oh. Shoot. Ooh. I'll go math.
Thank you.
We live together.
Thank you.
So, okay.
All right.
Do we have questions yet? And I want to make sure I'm being mindful of questions.
Hey, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Brown.
Hey.
Good game. Let's go Broncos. Yeah, I think most big folks feel that way. When we played Cincinnati, one of my comments about that game was we didn't play down to Cincinnati's level.
Right.
And so for the Broncos offense, it's the NFL. They're grown men. They get paid millions of dollars. You don't feel sorry for anybody.
No.
You're like, oh, let's take this play off because I don't want to embarrass you in front of your mom. No, dog, I'm coming after you.
That's your problem.
You knew the job was dangerous when you took it.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Broncos played to their level.
Yeah.
And they did it consistently all game long. So, yes, let's go Broncos. Absolutely.
Let's go Broncos. Yeah. And then I would have to say Bo's feet. I only saw a little bit of like a 2-step thing. But then I saw him settle and then I saw him complete passes. So I know you were speaking about how under that pressure, he seems to perform better.
Yes. So Bo's feet has been a topic all season, particularly on deep balls.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why is because there's so much time, he can't help but speed up his progression.
Okay.
As opposed to on the plays where he's rolling out of the pocket and he's making throws on the run, that's already a sped up style play. So it fits into his more high tempo, kind of slightly frantic style.
Okay.
Which we saw him do in the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah.
Or we saw him overthrow a deep pass today, which had a chance to be a touchdown.
Yeah.
And if you look at his footwork in the pocket, he drops back, he takes a step forward, but then he does a double hop before he throws.
Yeah.
There's not a quarterback coach in high school or college or NFL would say, do that double hop thing. That's working great for you. No.
2 hop 2 times. No.
It's not the cha-cha slides, none of that.
No. Okay.
Proper progression, proper footwork. So Bo's still got to swallow some of that excitement a bit on those big play opportunities. Because I'm sure in his head, he's like, oh my God, he's open. Oh my God, he's open.
Yeah.
Yes. And as a player, I've done that many times as well. I get free from the offensive tackle. The quarterback still got his ball in the hand. And suddenly I missed the sack. I missed the sack. I'm like, oh, come on. I missed the sack. Just relax, man. Relax.
Yeah. Well, I just saw so much better footwork from him today.
Yes.
And I wondered if you agreed on that. And to see how fast he's cleaning up these things. I feel like he must be really working hard.
They've got a good quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Davis Webb is a good quarterback coach. And he's not too long removed from being a player on the field.
Oh, players coach. We love that.
So that ease of communication that comes from those guys who were not just so long ago playing and understanding, because sometimes coach speak lands poorly and sometimes coach speak, you're just like, give me something I can use, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you played linebacker in high school, but I do this on a professional level and I need a little bit more than what you're telling me right now, man.
Yeah.
So the fact that Bo Nix has that guy to be the go-between between him and Sean Payton has got to be great. Because I'm sure Sean Payton can come in and Sean can say some pointed words and
he gets fired up.
I
feel him. I get fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so to have, a guy to put his arm around him and it's going to be okay. And we'll work on that after practice. We'll get that cleaned up. And, it's that guy who's in your corner after the head guy yells at you. It's nice to have that guy.
Nice. So the other thing I'm feeling that's making me even more confident in this team that we have is all these young players, because we are having diversity and inclusion on both sides, defensively and offensively.
Yes.
And there's so many young guys who are getting better, more confident each week. I mean, I see us going to the Super Bowl soon. You heard it here first.
Okay. Well, Sean Payton talked about that.
And I can see it.
After back-to-back losses, it didn't feel like that was going to be the case.
Right.
But it's increasingly feeling like there's an opportunity here. Down the road, can this be a Super Bowl team with the roster and the talent on the team and the head coach? Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think Super Bowl was possible this year.
Right.
And so, as I mentioned earlier, let's not break our arms, patting ourselves on the back, because this offense had a good game against the worst defense in the NFL, which came in completely undermanned because of the amount of injuries in the secondary.
Yeah.
It was still great, still NFL team.
Yeah.
But again, let's have this conversation same time next week after the Texans game.
Yeah.
And that'll be a much fair assessment of this Broncos offense. And while the Texans may not be a deep playoff team, that's a playoff level defense. So to judge the game may not necessarily be the ultimate judge, but be able to look at the Broncos offense purely against the Texans defense, that's the kind of style of defense and the type of personnel they'll see in the playoffs. So that'll be a much fairer assessment than what we saw out there today from the Cowboys. That was, I pride myself in knowing players on the field.
Yeah.
I've said, I call college football.
Right.
Of course, but
yes.
So every week I got to flush out 100 names and put in 100 new names.
Yes.
But in the NFL, I think I could show up and call an NFL game with 10 minutes notice because I know all the players on the field.
Right.
Outside of Kenny Clark, I couldn't tell you any players on the Cowboys defense.
Oh.
That's how many replacements Kenneth Murray, that's another guy who I can tell you because he used to play with the Chargers.
Okay.
So outside of that, I couldn't tell you any players on the Cowboys defense.
Okay.
That's how many replacements they had out there.
Okay.
Still, Bo Nix, Broncos, Sean Payton, RJ Harvey played well.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, they put together some really good drives. And then I would have to look at the fact that Vance's defense was able to hold this number one offense to only 27.
Not only hold, but Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And Tony said, Romo, during the game, I think Dak would love to have that one back because there were some poor throws. But
sorry to Dak.
Sometimes as the quarterback on a team where the defense is not very good, you start to feel the pressure to make plays.
You got to win the game yourself.
And the Broncos defense is too good of a defense for you to go rogue out there and I'm going to start making plays.
Yeah.
You got to take what this defense gives you. It's going to be very difficult for any team to dictate to this Broncos defense. There's just too much talent on the back end. There's too much talent up front. The quarterback is always going to be under pressure and duress. He's always going to be moved off his spot. And because of that, Dak Prescott sped up things in the pocket and made those 2 throws, which ended up being intercepted.
Okay, so I'm thinking about who we got to beat, right, to get to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
And we're in there strong.
We are leading the AFC West.
Confidently showing up and showing out. And every week we've sat in these chairs and talked about identity. And I feel like today they were saying, we're here, we're legit. Don't sleep on us. We're going places.
This game, from a pick'em perspective, a lot of folks picked the Cowboys.
Yeah.
A lot of folks because of that offense. And so while we can look at what the Broncos were able to accomplish offensively with a little bit of Cowboys defense, not so good.
Yeah.
This Broncos defense, I think for anybody who still continues to have doubt, despite them being the number 1 sack defense in the NFL, well, they just took on what seems to be the number 1 offense in the NFL with 2 great receivers, with a motivated running back, with a Pro Bowl / All-Pro quarterback who is having his best year of his career, with a highly paid, highly drafted offensive line. And they were clearly, without a doubt, the better unit out there today.
Okay, well, I'm excited about that. So first quarter, and what grade do you give the offense?
I mean, obviously the interception from Bo Nix, he would love to have that one back. So because of that, I can't go an A. You know, the mean teacher in me says, I know you picked it up the rest of the quarter, but you killed a drive with an interception. You turned the ball over. You gave him a short field.
All right. Not A minus even?
No, I'll go B plus.
B plus?
B plus.
Okay, B plus. In defense, first quarter.
A.
Okay. Defense wins
championships.
Hey, who has the number one defense?
Broncos do.
And let's talk about these sacks. They were comparing us to, getting to the place of what? The Chicago Bears was 94, 95?
And the 85 Chicago Bears.
85. Goodness.
That's so, yes.
Was I even born yet? Not important. Not important. Not important. Don't answer that question.
Yeah, the 85 Bears. And so I've been on some Steeler teams where we were towards the tops of the league or at the top of the league in sacks. And it becomes so fun.
Yes, let's have some fun.
It becomes so fun to see your offense get a lead and recognize, oh, I'm going to get all these pass rush opportunities. Great. And we're going to hit that guy.
Yeah.
And we're going to hit him hard.
Yeah.
So the game that you the date that you brought up earlier where I talked about the game.
Yeah.
I think that game we ended up as a team with 4 sacks against the Houston Oilers at the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And we knocked that quarterback out of the game. And so,
sorry to his mom.
Sorry to his mom and his wife,
yes.
and to him and his back. I think it was his back that why he left the game.
Yeah.
But as a defender, that's so much fun. As a pass rusher, it's so much fun.
Okay.
And so for this group of pass rushers today, Dak Prescott maneuvers the pocket pretty well. So they got to him.
Yeah.
Obviously not going to be a 9-sack performance like they had against the Jets.
Right.
Dak Prescott versus Justin Fields, it's just no comparison between the two quarterbacks.
Right.
But the ability for them to affect throws, to get Dak off the spot, for Nick Bonito to continually fly by him over and over and over, force him to step up into Zach Allen, force him to step up, release the ball, and then get hit, that wears away out of quarterback's confidence. So if you're going to talk about defense winning championships, if you're going to talk about affecting a quarterback, they were able to affect the quarterback who's having the best year of his career, who's thought of as one of the best in the league. And that's the kind of quarterback you're going to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that speaks well about this defense. It speaks well about Sean Payton's thought that this is a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
And your Super Bowl excitement over there, Kristen Brown.
Yes, I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Okay, so I love that they keep talking about, could we keep this trajectory going and surpass the Chicago Bears? The only thing that makes me a little bit concerned about that is, like you said, you get so excited, ball, right? Because you want to get those numbers.
Sack.
And now you're hearing this whole thing of, oh, we could surpass the old school Chicago Bears. To still be balanced and not end up shooting yourself in the foot with, late hits on the quarterback. We got one of those today. And, where you lose focus of winning the game sometimes because you want to win the stat numbers. Does that ever concern you?
That's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
But I think they play good enough team defense that should not be an issue. Now, in the second half of games where you're up by 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, as a guy who's playing the defensive line, are you thinking about stopping the run? Nope. I'll stop the run on my way to the quarterback. Yeah. So yes, you find the opportunities to pin your ears back and go after the quarterback. And once we get a lead, then I can play a little bit more sack focused. But initially to start the game, you don't just get to rush the quarterback. You got to earn the right to rush the quarterback. You got to stop him on 1st and 2nd down, or your offense has got to get the lead. That's how you do that.
Yeah.
And so particularly early in the game, teams wanting to present some balance to this Broncos defense, they're probably going to see a run play somewhere on 1st and 2nd down before the 3rd down comes up. So they've got to stop that run to create the 3rd and long situation, so then you can get the opportunity to rush the quarterback. So I think on a great defense, that's how the thought process has to go. We win 1st and 2nd down, then on 3rd down, we get to have fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's like your reward.
It's our reward. Yes.
Yeah.
I played the run, coach. I did good. Let's go on 3rd down, 3rd and 12. Let me get after this quarterback, and please let me get a sack. Because
do not get a flag. Now it's first down.
Yeah, well, on the back page of your contract, there's incentives for sacks.
Okay.
There is no D-incentive for penalized getting roughing the quarterback. Ooh. There's no negative incentive. They don't say, we'll give you this much money for 5 sacks and this much money for 10 sacks and this much money for 15 sacks.
Okay.
That's laid out on the back of your contract.
Okay.
Because the front of the contract is standard. It's already typed up. Okay. There's just blanks in it.
Okay.
The back page is where all the creativity comes in and all the incentives come in. So if you've got a great agent, he's going to negotiate on the back page of that contract all these incentives. But there's no D incentives. They don't take money from you.
Well, shoot. That's not balanced. I'm concerned about that.
Well, the contracts aren't balanced anyway because they still can cut you anytime they want.
Oh, that's true. It's not basketball.
It's not guaranteed money.
No.
This is not basketball.
It's funny money.
This is not baseball with guaranteed deals.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So do teams ever do like a swear jar,
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. I hope there's a swear jar.
So there can be, there's all kind of jars depending on the team and whether it's the defensive team meeting or the position meeting. Sometimes in the position rooms, you spend a lot of time with those guys, and sometimes there can be there can be a fart jar.
Oh,
you keep farting in meetings, man. So
that's a hazard.
But there's other times where there is a penalty jar.
Okay.
And depending on the penalty, you've got to put that money in. Okay. And that money can then be rewarded for the hardest hit of the game.
Ooh,
or the biggest play of the game.
Okay.
Now, typically as a defensive star, those guys make a ton of money. So what we would do on some of the teams I was on, we would pull up that money and give it to the special teams guys.
Oh, okay.
We've got $500 for the first tackle inside the 20. And so guys who make $1 million, it's amazing how excited they'll be to get $500 in their locker after the game. Enjoy that. Take the wife and kids out for a nice meal. You earned it today.
Okay.
Because some other guys are making $10 million. So for that guy to get $500, it feels great for him and his special teams role.
Okay. Well, you brought up special teams. So let's talk about field goals today.
Yeah, only one.
Only one.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And only two punts overall.
Yeah. The first drive. Right?
No interception.
Oh, right. That was an interception. Okay.
So what the first punt, I'm not sure when the first punt was, but then there was the second punt in the fourth quarter. So that's how you want your special teams to be.
I think they both were in the one in the third, one in the fourth, I believe.
We want our kicker to kick lots of extra points and hopefully not too many field goals.
Yeah.
We want to do lots of kickoffs because that means we scored points, and we want to have as few punts as possible.
Yes.
So that's what the Broncos did today.
Yeah.
That's how your special teams meeting should be on Monday. We sit there and we watch a ton of kickoffs, and punt team, we're literally in there for 5 minutes and we're out because we only punt the ball twice.
Nice. Okay, so that was great. So I'd have to say second quarter. What's your grade for that one then?
I would go with an A, second quarter. Yeah. Okay. For both sides of the ball.
Yeah, both sides of the ball. 100%. I agree. Okay, so then we had halftime.
Yeah.
Okay, so we end the first half with 27 points. Now, if we didn't have that interception, we would have had 7 more, I believe. But that's okay.
Okay.
So we end the first half with 27 points. So then there's halftime, and this is a time to reassess.
Right.
So we did see things differently at the start of the third quarter. Now, of course, Dak's like, I got to come out hard and fast and furious because I got 17 points to try to get here to at least break even. Right. And of course, that just makes sense. So we should know that. Right. But that first drive, it seemed like our defense was a little bit on their heels in that first drive. Well,
the Cowboys came out balanced. And so that's how you get a defense on their heels. And again, I would feel a bit, maybe not silly is not the right word, but a bit overly critical to say, you guys gave up a touchdown to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Right.
The number 2 scoring offense in the league.
Right.
What's wrong with you guys? You know what I mean? Now, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Did we come out flat? Was Vance's play calling off? No, the Cowboys are good.
Okay.
The Cowboys are going to, we knew coming to the game, the Cowboys were going to move the ball. We knew they would score some points, and they ended up doing both of those.
Right.
Just not at enough level to keep up with the Broncos offense and not enough level to win the game. The Cowboys offense was never really threatening to win the game. Now that Dak Prescott first drive of the second half, that made it a 10-point game.
Right.
And that created some opportunity there. But what happens if you don't take advantage of it? Cowboys unable to take advantage of it. The Broncos go with a field goal on their next drive, and then they score 2 touchdowns to end the third quarter. So, yes, they scored with 7 points. We responded with 17.
Yeah, and so I appreciated that as well, because they went down, came out fast and hard, and furious or whatever, but then we met their energy.
Right.
We met that energy, and then we surpassed it.
Yeah, sometimes
and we owned that quarter.
If you play a first half as the Broncos did,
yeah,
there can be a bit of a letdown in the second half. I didn't see any letdown. Again, that's playing to your standards, and that's what good teams do. Good teams don't, look at the scoreboard. They play to their standards.
Right.
Good teams don't take halves off or drive their series off. No, we play to our standards.
Okay.
And so that's what this team is evolving into. And so we talked about identity a number of times since we sat in these chairs, and you threw that out earlier. I would say they're beginning to adopt a professional identity. Earlier this year, they were wild and loose and too many penalties and making the wrong play in the most critical situations. Now they're cleaning all that stuff up, and they're approaching things the right way. I love that they still play with a high level of aggression.
Yeah,
I don't mind a roughing the passer as a former pass rusher.
Okay.
I know if you're going to be around the quarterback enough, as this defensive line and pass rush group is, this is the NFL in 2025. They're going to protect that guy.
Okay.
But sometimes you got to give them a little business. Let them know, I'll be back, dog. I didn't get you that time, but I'll be back.
Okay.
So now you don't want to do that in a critical situation.
Right.
Not that you actually get to choose your spots, but once a game, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
So professional is what this team's identity is. They show up, they do their job, they execute, they seize opportunities. And along the way, there's probably going to be 4 to 5 spectacular defensive plays and 3 to 5 spectacular offensive plays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing too, they cleaned it up.
From a penalty perspective.
Yeah, they cleaned it up. It was so nice to celebrate the flags not being our flags.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we had a few in there. I think it was third quarter. Moss, right?
Riley Moss.
Yeah. But they cleaned it up a lot, and I was very happy to see that.
Yeah. I think Sean Payton had to have a look at himself going on the field last week. He had to look at his team, and that's going to be an issue. Penalties lose games.
Right.
And penalties kill drives. Therefore, they lose games. Again, more Patriots talk from Chad Brown. When you walk into the Patriots facility, when I was there, one sign when you walked into the building, every battle is won or lost before it's fought. Sun Tzu, great quote, love it. Because it's essentially about the preparation for the battle. That's what the game is won or lost.
The prep and probably the mindset too, and the discipline.
Yes.
Right. All those things. You've learned those things. Okay.
Professional.
There we go.
A professional prepares.
Yeah.
Professional works hard.
Yeah.
Professional shows up ready to go. Professional has the right mindset. So it's every battle is won or lost before it's fought. And then before you walked into the Patriots team room, penalties lose games. And so while the Broncos have been able to get around that because they played the Jets and they played the Giants and did things like that, again, if you're going to stake your claim as a playoff team, you've got to play playoff level football. And if you have 12 penalties in a playoff game, you're not winning that game.
No.
You're not winning that game.
Yeah.
So some of these things that have happened earlier in the season, you can't clean the entire room at once. You got to clean up that part of the room. You got to clean up that part of the room. So they've been slowly but surely addressing issues as they crop up and cleaning them up.
Now, are you concerned about Moss?
No. Again, okay. I love his moxie, which is a fun word to say.
Okay.
And I love the way that he plays, because again, I was in his shoes a bit for the first couple of years of my career, because in Pittsburgh we had Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd. So and we had Rod Woodson and Carnell Lake. So if you're going to attack the Steeler defense and you're an offensive coordinator and you're looking at the roster, number 94, Chad Brown, rookie. Let's go at him. So
okay, they're targeting.
I felt that.
Got it.
And sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It feels unfair. They're just coming at me. It's just over and over and over again.
Right.
But then the next year, of course, Kevin and Greg are still there, and they're proven to be the great players that they were. So again, looking around that Steeler defense, well, Chad's no longer a rookie, but we're going to go after him again.
Okay.
So I had that for a year or two. Then at some point, they had to find somebody else because I proved you keep coming after me, I'm going to make some plays.
Right.
And so Riley Moss, I don't know if he's quite there just yet.
Okay.
But he's not the weak fish.
Right.
He may be the guy they choose to attack, but he's not the weak fish out there.
Okay.
He's able to stand on his own, and at some point, he's going to be able to turn some of these pass breakups into interceptions.
Okay.
Once the game slows down for him, because we see him, get the pass breakup.
Yeah.
But now the next step is rather than sticking a hand in there, it's two hands in there. Okay. It's just a little bit. The game starts to slow down a bit for you. You're not so freaked out of being targeted.
Okay.
And you start becoming the aggressor. I know you guys are going to come at me, but I'm coming right back at you guys. Throw my way. I'm taking one of these to the house.
Okay.
And so I think he's probably getting comfortable enough in the role of I'm going to be attacked to now switch it a bit. I'm going to come after you. I'm going to study this quarterback, and I'm taking one of these. I'm going to pick it off.
Oh, that'd be great if you guys could talk. Right? Just because you get it.
I totally get it.
And the benefit, the opportunity, I love opportunities, is to show them who you are, and they'll be like, okay, we can't keep picking on this guy.
Well, again, who else are you going to pick on this Broncos defense if Pat Surtain is healthy? Now, once he went out of the game, there were other guys, Abram James, who came into the game. So the Cowboys quickly recognized, well, we're not going to go to Riley Moss. We're going to go to Abrams Drain, which makes sense. As an offense, you should find the weakest of the guys to attack the weak fish out there. So they went after him, and they were able to move the ball and get some yards and score some points going after him. But again, hopefully this Pat Surtain injury is not too serious. It was a shoulder.
Yeah. Going
into the locker room, you could see him talking to the doctor. They showed that clip on CBS and him kind of moving an arm around. So it definitely wasn't some devastating injury.
Right.
By the way he was moving it. It didn't feel right.
Right.
That's why he was trying to figure out what was going on with it.
Right.
But I've broken my collarbone 3 times.
Uh-huh.
I've separated my shoulder.
Yes.
I've had all those things.
Yes.
When I had those injuries, I was not moving my arm around trying to assess what was happening. I was like, Doc, this thing hurts. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I've separated my AC joint, which is something you can play with. And then you're like, okay, let me find the spot where it's clicking, where it's popping, and see if I can play with this thing. So maybe that's what happened there for him.
Okay. Yeah. Well, to go backwards, when he first went down, it felt very alarming. And then he got it together and he was okay. And he came back in.
The shin, they got kicked in the shin. Yes.
So for him to go out of the game near the end is also wise because they were playing so well. Go ahead and let him rest up. We've got some big matchups coming. And how well we were able to play when he wasn't in the game.
Yeah, certain guys got targeted. But at the same time, I think that's great.
You got to get ready for that.
You got to get some depth.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for you to get on the field. And who knows what injuries are going to happen? Who knows how this whole thing is going to shake out as the season moves along? We may need to count on you in some critical situation. And I'd rather you get these reps in this game against a team where we've already got this commanding lead,
right? Rather
than in a couple of weeks against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter, and you haven't played in a critical situation in 5 weeks, and you're about to pee on yourself because it's the fourth quarter and it's Patrick Mahomes,
Kansas City.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Get all that out now.
Right.
Make the mistakes now. Get the coaching now.
Yeah.
Get all that out of your system now, so you can be prepared when your next opportunity on the field comes.
Okay, so good, because we had such a command out there today on both sides of the field.
Right.
And we had such a lead. We got to get a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So third quarter was a victory.
Third quarter was good. We had the dropped touchdown pass possible.
Yeah.
We gave up the touchdown to start the third quarter. I will go with an A for the defense.
Okay.
And offensively, despite scoring 17, there were some missed opportunities out there. I'll go A-.
Okay. Because we got the field goal. So that's when we ended up being, what was that, 30-17 by the end of the third.
Yeah, we got 17 points in the third quarter. So 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we doing a question?
Yeah.
Do we have another question?
Ooh, Bo is a top 10 quarterback right now. He just needs to be consistent.
And you know what? I'm seeing more consistency with him, along with confidence, holistically. And I wanted to talk to you about, who's the guy he went to Ohio with?
Oregon.
Sorry.
Troy Franklin.
It's an old school.
Old school, right.
Old school. Okay. Yeah. So to see them out there together, like, how beneficial is that? Because you went to the Steelers and so many of the guys you played with in college went there too. How beneficial is it to bring someone along with you and have those connections?
Coming into the NFL, it's frightening.
Yeah.
Some grown men.
Yeah.
Who are talking about private schools for their kids and landscaping.
Yeah.
And, grown man stuff.
Yeah.
And so to walk into that Steelers locker room and to have Deion Figures and Ariel Solomon and Joel Steed. And then soon after we got there, then Cordell Stewart shows up and Charles Johnson, rest in peace, shows up. So many guys there.
Yeah.
That transition becomes that much easier.
Okay.
So for Troy Franklin,
yeah,
things didn't go so well for him when he first got there. So to have his boy there with him to lift up his spirits, sometimes that can prevent you from going into the tank. And if you go into a tank as a young player, some of those guys never get out of it. They get down on themselves, they get frustrated, the coaches get down on them, and that downward spiral starts. So now to see Troy Franklin play so well today.
So well.
We've seen different guys in the receiver room step up all season long.
Yeah.
And so the Cowboys seem like they really want to take away Cortland Sutton. And so who else is going to step up? So today was Troy Franklin's day, which is great. And it's another down the road, it'll be Marvin Mims. And then we saw the rookie with a touchdown reception. No, Evan Ingram's the tight end.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess the rookie's name is escaping me right now. But anyway, he caught a touchdown. And Evan Ingram has emerged over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So again,
diversity.
As we just talked about defensively, making the most of your opportunities and building depth. An offense needs depth as well. And if you're going to play in the Sean Payton offense, he's going to go with multiple personnel packages. So you're going to get an opportunity to be on the field. And when your ball comes your way, you got to seize that. Otherwise, he's going to give someone else that opportunity. So to see someone else step up, and now defenses don't know exactly who they want to take away. It's probably always going to be Cortland Sutton, but who's that second guy? I don't think there's a clear second guy a defense wants to take away, because you take away Franklin, well, then here's Marvin Mims. You try to take away them, well, here's Evan Ingram on a crossing route. You take away those guys, well, here's Patrick on you put your third or fourth corner on him, the rookie, and he's making a play. So there's just so many talented guys that Bo Nix can identify the right matchup and get the ball to.
Okay. So third quarter, shining star.
Is that Troy Franklin?
Well, no, shining star, gold star, plus.
For me, overall,
A plus. The scores, basically.
Oh gosh, I'll go.
We even had a Tillman making a play out there today.
Gosh.
That was fourth quarter. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes. Maybe I'll go Bo Nix. 17 points, successful drives. But I think in the third quarter was when he had the overthrown deep touchdown. Overall, I'll just go with the offense. Everyone got a gold star in offense.
Everyone gets a gold star. We all get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So I have a question about holding calls when someone's literally grabbing the jersey.
In what part of the game?
This was in the third quarter.
Okay.
And we got that holding call, and it seemed like, I don't know. I see that, and it feels like, okay, you're holding the fabric. Like, is that on purpose at that point? Do you not realize it? Or, because I know we're so much cleaner now, but as it gets harder, we need to be cleaner and cleaner and cleaner with penalties. And it seemed like more penalties started to show up at the end of the third quarter.
It got a little touch sloppy.
Yeah.
Whether you are an offensive lineman holding a pass rusher, or a defensive lineman in the run game, and the refs see the jersey pulled.
Right.
If you are a defensive back and you're tugging on a receiver's jersey and they see the jersey pulled, that's when the refs are instructed by the league to throw the flag.
Okay.
At that point, it's no longer judgment.
Okay.
If we see the jersey tugged and pulled, that jersey is stretched, they are instructed to throw the flag in those situations.
Okay, so then that should be talked about.
Well, the NFL, every year, they send out an officiating crew to your training camp.
Okay.
And those guys spend 2 to 3 days there with you.
Okay.
And they're at every practice, and they call the practice.
Okay.
That typically coincides with the coaches wanting to have some full speed periods in practice.
Okay.
So you can get a sense of how things are going to be called in a full speed period.
Okay.
And then also the officials, they show a film to the entire team when they go over all the new calls
Okay.
and all the points of emphasis.
Okay.
And once that film is over, the officials open up for questions.
Mm.
And this happens every year in my career.
Okay.
And every year it would be the defensive backs arguing with the officials about pass interference and holding calls.
Okay.
And so it initially would be a couple of questions from a couple of different positions.
Yeah.
Then after that, it would be 20 minutes of defensive backs yelling at the officiating crew about what am I supposed to do? And just because I grab his jersey, it's not PI. And the officials had the same answer every time.
Yeah.
If we see the jersey tugged, if we see the jersey pulled, we have to throw the flag.
It just
I will get a negative score if I don't throw the flag in that situation. And I want to work the Super Bowl. I want to work the playoffs because those are rewarded to the refs who have the best grades.
Wow. Okay, well, tell me about that. I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that?
No. I always wondered, how did that work? I don't even know what I thought. Did other people have this question? But yeah, how do you get to be a Super Bowl ref?
You have to be
even like a playoff ref too, right?
Right.
Okay.
You work those games
Okay.
based on your grades and your score.
Okay.
That's how you get that opportunity.
Okay.
So the best teams, the best officials work the playoffs and work the Super Bowls.
Wow.
And so as an officiating crew, they want to identify the weak fish, and they want to get rid of those guys. They don't get asked back. They'll bring up some guys from college or other places to come in and step in as they remove all the weak fish. So there's this constant rotation of officials, but the best guys, that's why you tend to recognize officials who've been in it a long time, because they work playoffs. They work the Super Bowls because they're the best. They get the highest grades.
Okay, so perhaps we should be not so hard on the refs because they're probably not trying to screw it up, right?
They're definitely not trying to screw it up. And I know there's an NBA scandal which casts a stain upon the game and integrity of the game. And within the NBA scandal, not this current one, but 16 years ago with the officials and all that.
Yeah.
You and we have a chance to sit down with officials at retired players meetings, a number of retired players who have moved into officiating. And we sit down with those guys. And they are men of integrity.
Yeah.
They are good men. They are good people. They are above reproach. And they are men of integrity.
Above reproach. That's a good one.
Yes. And so, I don't think there's an NFL official who has some kind of purposeful bias.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The Cowboys get more beneficial calls? Probably.
Right.
But it's not purposeful.
Right.
Yes.
And it's a legit call, right? Okay. So speaking of calls, there was offensive pass interference.
Yes.
And we don't really see that very often.
You see it on teams who try to run pick routes. So Sean Payton runs pick routes. So it happens every couple of games for the Broncos. And immediately after that call, you got to pick up your phone and look what people are saying. And all I saw was, this call is bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Right.
If you are a receiver and you're running a route and it doesn't look like you're trying to run a route and that you accidentally run into a defender and pick him off, they're going to throw the flag.
Okay.
You can't look like it's intentional in any way. It can't look like it's on purpose.
Okay.
You can't look like you're blocking. You have to look like I'm actually running a route. So you have to lie with your body language. When you break the huddle, your job is to pick that defender so this other receiver can get open and get free.
Okay.
But you have to be deceitful to the officiating crew and to the defense with your body language to show them that you're running a route. And I just happen to be in this place where you are at the same time. My bad.
Okay, so was that miscommunication?
No, the guy who got penalized did it wrong. He did it wrong.
Okay.
He did not make it look enough as if he was running a route. He made it look like he was blocking. He made it look like he was trying to pick off that defender for the Cowboys.
Okay.
So for the officials, that's an easy
That was
call.
an easy call. Okay.
I know he was engaged with another Cowboy defender in front of him. But then the other guy was coming from his inside, and he clearly went to block that guy.
Okay.
He should have just acted as if he was trying to get away from the guy who was already holding on to him.
Okay.
And in the process of that, oh, I happened to run into this other player. Oh, I didn't even see him. My bad.
Okay.
Because that's allowed. I'm just running around and I happen to hit you, as opposed to me purposely looking at you and going to block you.
Wow. I didn't know there was theater in football.
Oh, we are always trying to sell something other than what we are actually trying to do. As a pass rusher, I want you to believe that I'm going to run around you and do my best speed rush.
Okay.
So then as an offensive tackle, you bail back as quickly as you can. And now once I got you light on your feet, I do the Von Miller. I put my hand in your chest. I lift you up off your feet and I go inside and get the sack. I sold you speed, knowing all the time I was going to go to power once you bought that I was going with speed.
Wow.
So the same thing with all the other positions. You're trying to sell something in attempts to make that person think, and then you do something else. Just like we talked about with Sean Payton with the Joker thing.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of selling something, he's purposely creating ambiguity. So you don't know what to do.
So you're on your heels.
You're on your heels.
Okay.
Right. So we're always either selling ambiguity or selling the opposite of what our intent is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. So I would say,
and such a fun word, ambiguity.
I like ambiguity.
Yes.
I don't want to feel
ambiguous.
Yes. No, I want certainty.
Yes.
And confidence.
Strong confidence.
Yeah. And that's what I'm having in our Broncos. I'm Bo leaving and I'm having certainty,
I see what you did there, Kristen
and I'm
Brown.
having confidence.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do we have BK? Is that what we're hearing?
Oh, perfect timing.
BK, what's up, my friend?
Hey.
Kristen, hey, Chad. Hey, Kristen. Hopefully the lights stay on. My camera's got a full battery, computer's charged, mixer's working, got a new mixer. You know, just like the Broncos offense is finally clicking. I think my post-game technical support should be clicking as well. But, you know, as somebody who grew up in Dallas and still, I guess, kind of consider myself a Cowboys fan, I didn't know what to expect today. You knew the strength on strength, Cowboys offense against this Broncos defense might cancel each other out. And I knew the Broncos would be able to take advantage of the Cowboys lacking just personnel on that defensive side of the ball. But I didn't know that it would be this level of an ass whooping. And that's what we saw. I don't know if there's a bigger gap, and you've maybe seen this over the years. I don't know if there's a bigger gap in what the capabilities of their offense were. I know they were held in check today, and and I know they're not totally healthy, but we're not going to get too far. Just with that personnel on the field, the gap between that defensive personnel and what the Cowboys offensive personnel can be of any of the 32 teams, maybe in a long, long time, where one unit has such a gap over the other.
Well, I would say the Broncos' next opponent, the Houston Texans, were kind of in that vein earlier in the season, but their offense has picked it up. They won 3 of the last 4, so not quite that massive disparity. The defense for the Cowboys, and I certainly want to give the Broncos offense credit, but it looked as if some of those plays the Broncos were running on air, and you've seen an offense in practice run plays on air. It felt like the Cowboys defense was worse than running on air, because sometimes in on air a pass gets dropped or somebody makes a mistake. The Cowboys defense couldn't force that in the Broncos offense today.
Yeah, you talk about on air, it almost felt like 7-on-7, or like a play is going to be made, and then can you pull their flag? Because there was almost no pressure on Bo at all, really throughout the game. They were able to run it effectively. RJ Harvey, obviously a huge day, big days for the top 3 draft picks, with Barron getting the interception at the end of the half, but obviously with what Pat Bryant able to get his first touchdown and what Harvey did, scoring 3 times. But they knew, and I think even from the beginning, where the interception that Bo threw, they were still moving the ball. And I saw Tony Romo at halftime And he said, I would still keep attacking Bridges, even though he had that lucky interception. And I said, do you think that Bryant maybe ran the wrong route or was an option route? He said, well, it was an RPO to start. He goes, I think maybe Bo saw a hand in his face and just tried to kind of throw it around it. I'm going to take Tony Romo's word for it when it comes to trying to figure that out. But I asked Bo in the locker room before he went to the podium, which I don't say is a no-no, but I went up. Everybody's in a good mood after scoring 44 points. Said, I don't want to waste this question on you in there. But Tony Romo told me at halftime he thought maybe there was a hand up and you were just trying to get around it. Bo wouldn't admit to that. He said he has to look at the tape. Bo's never going to give you much, even when it's kind of off the record, or certainly no microphone or camera in his face or anything. Nonetheless, other than that, it was almost a perfect day for Bo and this offense. And you look back to the fourth quarter against the Giants, and that's 77 points in the last 5 quarters. I think you'll take that. But we know that this was a bit of a JV defense. And I don't know the last time I've seen a defense this ineffective. And I don't know where the Cowboys go from here. Yes, trading away your best player, which makes no sense to me anyway, isn't going to help that side of the ball, even if Kenny Clark is a nice player and you got some draft picks out of it. But we know how dynamic Micah Parsons can be. So he's gone, but then no Trayvon Diggs, and Bland is ineffective. They're missing Donovan Wilson. They're missing the Overshown kid. But they're bad. It's not good up front at all. And as good as they have been drafting on the offensive line, they've missed on the defensive front pretty significantly in the last few years.
Yeah, well, speaking about that offense, that's supposed to be number 1. They didn't look like that today. And I think our defense is supposed to be number 3. We were looking like number 1. I mean, I get excited. I'm a Bronco fan. We'll dismiss your comment earlier about maybe you're still a Cowboy fan.
I yell at the TV when they're, but I'm sitting up there, and I don't want to cut off your question, but I'm sitting up there. I'm like, I realize when the Broncos do well, it's good for all of us, even if Chad didn't grow up a Broncos fan or played for the Broncos. I didn't grow up a Broncos fan. My kids certainly are, but the more the Broncos win, the better it is for us at Guerilla Sports. The farther they go in the playoffs, the more fun that is to cover. And if the Cowboys ever made it back to the Super Bowl, I'd probably cheer for them. Now, Cowboys-Broncos, we'd see how that goes. But I don't think with that defense, Cowboys are getting anywhere near a Super Bowl anytime soon. But I don't let their wins and losses dictate my mood anymore. I've never let any of the Denver teams do that, but really just Kansas basketball and kind of Fulham soccer. But anyway, you are a Broncos fan, Kristen. So please continue your question.
I am a Bronco fan. But the other thing I wanted to just bring up really quickly is we've been talking about identity, and there was so much good that showed up today. There was so much confidence that showed up today. I'm wondering, what would you say their identity is now? We've been talking about that.
Well, it's hard to say they've got a truly established identity, except for they've shown that when they stay committed to running the football, good things for the most part have happened. Dobbins goes over 100 yards for the second time this year, something we hadn't seen in several years. And then RJ Harvey obviously showing how dynamic he can be. And so I think that is something that you have to hang your hat on, knowing that you're going to have a tough task against the Texans. And maybe this is really where, and I don't want to jump ahead too far too fast, but if they can go into Houston, let's say they score 24 or more, or 27, or find a way to get to 30 against that defense that statistically has been the best scoring defense in football and was good today against the Niners, then sort of like the defense kind of reminded the league, hey, we really are a top unit. We just held the top scoring offense in the league to 17 points when Dak was in. I understand it's a bummer for VJ and that defense that Joe Milton, who we know has a huge, huge arm. Chad, you may have done some of his games in college. That dude could throw the ball a mile. But there was a garbage touchdown when it was almost all backups. Now, it was on Riley Moss, but he didn't have the same pass rushers, and it wasn't the same intensity when he lets that last score. But because 17 would be a nice, a nice feather in their cap as opposed to 24. But that being said, the offensive identity, I think, is still evolving. But what we saw early, and why I think it was working, is Sean's maybe getting out of his own way, and he wasn't rotating through, receiver groups and tight ends in for wideouts, and J.K. Dobbins goes for 6 yards, and then here comes R.J. Harvey to run the next play, and then here comes Bidet on third down. I think we saw a few weeks ago, I guess it was against the Bengals, right, where he said, we're just giving these running backs, a series or two, like letting them continue to play until the situation dictates they need to make a change because of fatigue or whatever it may be. And so we saw that early. I know there was that interception, but I think just kind of simplifying things. We know that Sean is an offensive genius. No one's disputing that. And I think he needs to remember that no one is calling him out saying, oh, they're doing it in spite of Sean. But if they keep things simple and the offense scores 44 points, Sean is still going to get plenty of credit. He's the one that drew up all these plays. He's the one that talked about Saturday night. They had all their best, what they thought would be touchdown scoring plays, and they set each player's school fight song to them to kind of jazz it up a little bit. Something Pat Bryant talked about in the locker room, saying, those meetings can be kind of long. I mean, this kid's only in his 8th one of those going into today, because that brought a little more juice to it. And then he said they ran a lot of those plays for guys to be able to score. And when you score 44 points, you get that. And so I think Sean is going to, his offense scored 44 points. No one's saying they did it because, regardless of the plays he was calling, they did it because it all worked together. So I think their identity has to be, we're just going to beat you at football. We don't have to outthink you and outdesign you and everything else. We've got pretty good players. Could they use maybe one more weapon as a wideout at the trade deadline if there's one available? Maybe. I don't think it would hurt, but I don't know if they need it. And I also think you get, for the second straight game, I get that he's not playing against, although he did have Kenny Clark in there, but Palczewski, I think he got a game ball last week. Doesn't look like they're missing a beat without Ben Powers. Now without a hurt Matt Peart, like we saw in London, 2 weeks of Palcho, and you got to feel good about what you've got up front. But continuing to just win up front, running the football, gets you into more manageable second and third down.
All right, BK. Sean said after the Giants game, maybe we've got some people in the wrong positions, or he alluded to that. And I don't have the exact quote, but he alluded to that. And I was wondering what kind of change we were going to see today. And I didn't see anything significant that would make it seem as if there was this shift in responsibility, duty, or role. We saw Troy Franklin have a great game today, but we've seen other receivers emerge all year long in different games. So did you see something that would specifically connect to that quote from Sean Payton of last week?
No, not necessarily, but part of that may just be that the Cowboys defense is so crappy. You don't have to change too much beyond what what I kind of talked about with just simplifying your personnel groupings. And maybe part of that is we don't have to out scheme you when we're just going to outplay you because you're not very good at stopping the run or the pass. And so I guess in Houston will probably be a better barometer for that, Chad, because we'll see them going strength on strength or whatever, a strong defense against this offense. Will they be able to find effective plays, and will they limit what you see from some guys in terms of just their snap count or their participation or, or how and when they're used? And so I think that I didn't see anything today, but when you're scoring 44 points, you don't have to change up much other than for the first time, as Sean told us. And I don't know, have y'all played Sean's postgame yet? He mentioned, because I asked about RJ Harvey taking that direct snap. This is a kid that in high school threw 43 touchdowns or 45 touchdowns his senior year, and then went to Virginia to be a quarterback. Now he's about this tall, which I'm 5'8" on my best day. So understand why it wasn't maybe going to work long-term. So he transfers to UCF. But a kid that's clearly comfortable taking a shotgun snap. And I even asked RJ about it as well. But Sean said that play had been in for 5 weeks. And RJ's like, yeah, we've had that in since the start of fall camp. We just would never get to it where it's based on what the linebacker does. They motion Bo out, and then RJ can motion in. And so, that's, I guess, some level of creativity. But Sean said they kept leaving it on there in case they ever needed to use it. They used it. And RJ said he thought they were never going to use it anyway, but that he's certainly comfortable doing that. But in general, you don't have to get overly creative against a bad defense. Just go play football. It reminds me, and only because they're the Cowboys, and I go back to their 90s teams. I'm not trying to pour salt in any wounds, Chad. This is not a shot at all. But the Cowboys offenses under Norv Turner weren't that complex. They had a Hall of Fame guard. They had a bunch of Pro Bowlers, a Hall of Fame QB, a Hall of Fame wideout, a Pro Bowl tight end, a Pro Bowl fullback, and one of the best running backs of all time. And they just kind of lined up and said, this is what we're going to do. And it worked more times than not. And I think that that's okay, especially against the bad defense, to just keep it kind of simple and let your athletes go make plays because they have, less good athletes.
So I'm that person who says, I love that we beat this bad offense, bad defense so well. And I love that the Texans are coming off of winning against the 49ers. So I feel like they're going to be all kinds of cocky. And I feel strongly that we can come home with the win next weekend. And I'm wondering how you two feel.
Yeah. Chad, you want to go first?
I'll go first. I think despite the Texans' recent offensive improvement, we're playing offense at a better level.
Yeah.
And so the ability for us to score points against the Texans defense, I think BK, talked about it. I don't think we'll put up 30, but 24, that should be good enough for this Broncos defense to take on the Texans offense. It's hard to imagine Texans putting up 24 against the defense that we saw out there today. I know Dak Prescott and the Cowboys didn't have their best game today, but the Texans don't have anywhere near the firepower that the Cowboys have. So I'm expecting to be in this seat next week talking about a Bronco winning against the Texans, taking the show on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, I guess, being the best team in Texas if they end up winning that game. And look, they've got a new offensive coordinator. They fired Bobby Slowick, who helped them get to the playoffs the last 2 years, and we hear it's because Bobby and CJ Stroud didn't get along. Okay, that's fine. Your young franchise quarterback's going to win that battle, if you will, with the organization. But the offense hasn't come out firing. Now, they haven't had Joe Mixon, but Nick Chubb, I think, has been better this year than he was last year coming off the knee injury. Dalton Schultz hasn't done much, and they won today without Nico Collins. You don't know what you're going to get if he'll be back, but he's clearly their most dynamic playmaker on offense. We haven't talked about it yet. Pat Surtain was nowhere to be found when we got in the locker room. He hurt his knee early. We saw, or what we thought, I think was his knee, based on him rolling a sock up, limping, and then doing drills and then going back into the game. And I think, I don't know if it's been identified, but he might have hurt himself on that Barron interception at the end of the half.
Shoulder. Yeah.
Is that when he did? Hurt his shoulder. So take the knee away. Hopefully that's okay. Ice it up, but nothing severe there. He went back in the game. But did he hurt his shoulder blocking? I haven't gone back and watched it. Obviously, I've been doing postgame, but no PS2. If there's no Nico Collins, you say that's a wash. If Nico Collins is back and no PS2, well, then you got to obviously get not only a good effort from Riley Moss, but from Chris Abrams-Drain, who Chris Abrams-Drain would have been the best corner on the field today for the Cowboys. I know Deron Bland was a Pro Bowler, but they didn't call his name once. Also, Jadeveon Clowney got his name called at the end of the third quarter. I didn't realize in year 12, guys made $100 million, but the former number 1 overall pick was still playing. And like I said, the Cowboys are my childhood team, but it gives you an idea of how little I've watched the Cowboys play this year, and I watched them in the opener against the Eagles. That's the only Cowboys game that I've watched before, just watching some stuff this week, but Clowney didn't show up on any of it. Nonetheless, I think they can go into Houston, and if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, I know that's kind of goes without saying, but if they don't give extra opportunities to the Texans by turning the ball over and they just play their brand of football defensively, I don't think the Texans are going to steamroll them. So it could be a game like we saw, maybe not with the Jets, but a 20-19 kind of game or a 16-13 kind of game can win it. But I think I said it to you guys, I don't even know, maybe after the Bengals game when they got to 2-2. I said, I think really after the Philly games when I said it. So they got to 3-2. So they went from 1-2. I said, I think I can get to 8-2. Nothing has changed. Obviously, it was a weird game in London and a weird 3 quarters here last week against the Giants. Nothing weird about this today, except for we're trying to wrap our mind around how the Cowboys can have such a bad defense. And so there's no reason to think the Raiders are going to come in here a week from Thursday. Obviously it's a short week for both teams, but you'll be the home team. So if they can win in Houston, 8-2 feels almost like a lock, barring a catastrophe against the Raiders with a bunch of turnovers or injuries or something we don't foresee.
Well, I was going to ask you a wrap-up style question about, you lose to the Colts, you lose to the Chargers, you start the season 1-2, and now we find ourselves at 6-2. What do you feel like the trajectory of this football team is? But you just answered that. You think 8-2 again, and then this epic matchup against the Chiefs in a couple weeks down the road. Is that stating, kind of summarizing your thoughts there fairly?
Yeah, I think they lose to Houston, whatever, but even 7-3, you're still feeling pretty good about yourself. You're going to be at that point at best tied with the Chiefs, or at worst tied with the Chiefs if you get to 7-3. And then the Chiefs are going to come in here. We know what they're about. We'll see them on Monday night. And you beat them here a year ago against their backups, but you had them beaten in Arrowhead. And yeah, they are playing better football, but you know that you can hang with them. Despite that 15-game losing streak, they hung with them in plenty of those games and had chances. Last week we honored Demaryius Thomas. I remember a Monday night game. Case Keenum misses Demaryius Thomas by this much, just down this east sideline, or the Broncos win that game. So they aren't as scared of the Chiefs as I think they once were. And I say scared. We know this is the NFL, but you understand the fan base, everybody. You know you can beat the Chiefs. And at 8-2, you're going to feel really good. I would expect that we're going to see Jim Nantz and Tony Romo that day too, because until proven otherwise, I do think they're going to beat the Texans. And then you come in to that game. Is that the game right after the Raiders? They got 10 days, and then is that right on the schedule that the Chiefs come in whatever that is, the 15th or whatever that Sunday is? And so I think that you'll have the extra kind of mini bye off the Raiders, so that'll help. And you've got to be feeling good at home where, you're going to have, sure, there's some Chiefs fans that have, not only moved here, but in the world, their fan base has gotten bigger. Not as many Cowboys fans as I expected. I thought we'd see more. We know how it is with Cowboys, Steelers, Packers especially, and Chiefs fans have certainly made their way to Mile High the last few years. But I think you will be primed. And if you win that game, then I think the sky's the limit. We know the Bills are obviously a talented team. I think they're flawed in some spots on defense. I don't love their playmakers beyond James Cook for Josh Allen. Like, they have some nice tight ends. None of their wideouts are dynamic. We know the Ravens have fallen off. I think every team has flaws. You're going to get another shot at the Chargers. You had them beaten in LA. So when Sean Payton's talking about a Super Bowl run, they have to stay healthy. If PS2's out for a long time, that changes the way we talk about this team. If some other key players have to go down for a bit, that's going to change it. But as it stands now, we went into a game today, other than Powers on the IR and Greenlaw suspended. We're going to see Greenlaw probably for a full game next week or close to it, 40 snaps instead of 20 snaps. They're remarkably healthy. There was nobody on the injury report. Jonah Ellis was the only guy Friday, full participant in practice, was on the field today. And so we know that it's week 8, and knock on wood, they stay healthy. But health is such a huge factor in your late season success. And so because of that, if they're sitting there at 8-2 and then find a way to beat the Chiefs, get to 9-2, they might be the team people are chasing. They're not only looking at that point trying to win the division, but perhaps get home field early, if not throughout the entire playoffs. And so I know I'm getting ahead, but you said you wanted, projection. It's all in front of them right now. They don't have to do any heavy lifting yet. You drop a couple of dumb games here. I say dumb, but like you lose to the Texans and you lose to the Raiders, all of a sudden things get a little murkier. But your only losses are to a Colts team that maybe is, I guess I left them off the AFC playoff picture, but nobody's going to be worried about the Colts in the playoffs. You had them beaten there, save for a 60-yarder. Yes, they will give you a tough game. Daniel Jones is playing great. But you lose to the Colts, you lose to we think's a good Chargers team, and that's it. And you found ways to win. And the Eagles clearly have rounded into form, but you got them at the right time and took care of business, against the defending champs. I would be excited if I'm a Broncos fan, like my kids are, like my family is, like my wife is, like Kristen is. And so it's a good time to be a Broncos fan. That's for sure.
I think that's a great way to end it there. Thanks, BK. Good stuff. We'll see you next week, my friend.
Thanks. Talk to you next week.
Time to be a Bronco fan.
All right. Well, signing off for Kristen Brown, the Guerilla Sports post-game show. Bronco, tremendous win. Tremendous win. Awesome performance by the offense. Defense stood up to what was thought of as the most high-powered offense in the NFL. Now we've got a test next week against the Houston Texans. They come in with the league's best scoring defense. Can Bo Nix and this offense keep it going against somebody who's far better than what the Cowboys were able to put out there on the field today? We're fixing to find out. Thanks.
Fixing to find out. Bo, leave with me. Bo, leave with me.
We'll see you guys next week.